What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, just welcome. My name is Gemma Jade, but today we are going to be discussing static entities, and I mentioned these a while ago, and I started a script, and then I completely forgot about them until recently, so I really don't know what to say about them, except they kind of remind me of the Glimmer Man. If you guys want this to become a series, let me know. That's kind of what I'm doing now. I'm doing part ones, and if you guys want more, let me know, and you'll get it. All right, let's jump right in. Well, I've covered my fair share of the bizarre and strange in both the paranormal and extraterrestrial fields. Sometimes something comes up that even surprises me and makes me think that maybe it's something a little too weird to be true, even for these communities that I work in. This is one of those times. There are more than a few supernatural and or paranormal beings that are witnessed solely by children and no one else for one reason or another, depending on the entity. The entities I'm going to discuss today are called static entities and are seemingly made of flickering white noise or static, and many children have reported having strange and oftentimes terrifying experiences with them. So when I say they're made of white noise, right, how are they made of something you hear? It's like that static on like the old-timey TVs when they used to turn off for the night, like before cable, when they used to turn off and you'd get that static on the channel. I don't know really how else to explain it, but these entities are made up fully of that, right? Of that white noise. Like when you're listening to a white noise machine, if you put it on white noise, it'll be that static like that. I became aware of this phenomenon some time ago, but completely forgot about it, like I said, with all of my other research and just who I am as a human being and getting distracted and moving on to something else halfway through a script. The beings flicker in and out like the static on a television. I still have so much research to do on these beings, but needed to get this information out to you guys while it's still fresh in my mind and give you all the basics so I can move forward with the research and try and figure this one out, at least a little bit more than what I know now. So far, I can't categorize or classify them. Possibly, I could say they're kind of humanoid and almost exclusively seen by children. Sometimes they confuse, and most times they strike fear in the hearts of whoever lays eyes on them. This is not just because they're paranormal, mind you. They might also be evil as well. That's precisely why I felt the need to share what I know so far with you. Are these entities drawn to children and the young, or is it just that these are the ones who are more prone and open to being susceptible to seeing something like this? Because remember, I said almost always appear to children. A humanoid creature so unknown and bizarre makes me kind of wonder what else is lurking around our children that most of us can't see. I don't know if I've ever had an encounter with one of these entities, so I also must wonder, are they new? And if so, why are they appearing kind of all over the place now? So here it is, encounters with static entities. Someone posted the following about the unknown entities on one paranormal forum or another about experiences. Quote, they are most often seen by young children, usually from the ages of 3 to 8, or are seen in the proximity of children. One story I found is that of a mother who saw one of these beings watching her infant son in his crib. Another tells of a young boy who went missing in the woods for several days after he followed the quote-unquote fuzzy man. He was eventually found alive and in perfect condition despite having been in the woods for several days. This came as a surprise to everyone who found him. The precise nature of their relationship with children is still unclear, but it continues to appear in these cases. End of quote. Another person gave an account of her own personal experiences with these beings from when she was younger. She was about 8 years old at the time and was sitting in what she called a, quote, lounge at the end of the hallway, end quote, in her home. This witness claims to not be able to clearly remember exactly what she was doing in this lounge, but that she remembers the encounter quite vividly. She reported, quote, all of a sudden I had a really powerful urge to look at the end of the hallway. We had recently brought a coat stand from a boot sale, and this was in the middle of the hallway now. As I stood there, I saw a human outline, but entirely filled with TV-like static. I remember little bits of yellow and blue in it, but was mainly white, and it came out of the bedroom on the left and was in a running stance, but it was really weird because it was in slow motion, and it ran from the left to the back door on the right. As it ran, it grabbed the coat stand and pulled it down, and it fell to the floor. I was just standing there in shock and so scared. I ran to my sister and told her what had happened, and when we went back into the hallway, the stand was still on the floor. That was the only time I saw it. I don't know why I saw it or why it pulled the stand down. It was all just so surreal. I did have some other experiences in that house that were paranormal, so maybe it was all connected. End of quote. This is creepy on so many different levels. I mean, the thing is in a running stance, but moving in slow motion. it's like, what's going on here? Like, did it somehow come from the air, from the white noise that's in the air? That is there white noise in the air that we can't hear? I know that sounds dumb, but and just like trying to put everything together, I really honestly don't know. I can't wait to hear your guys' opinions and theories and more information on this in the comments. While I said I don't know nearly enough yet to make my own hypothesis, I can confidently say that I do believe at least that these entities are paranormal and perhaps supernatural, as they are certainly unnatural. I mean, people aren't made of static, right? I can't help but keep returning in my mind to thoughts of the elusive Glimmer Man encounter that I had. While I know they aren't one and the same, it's the closest thing I can get my mind to consider when trying to understand what something like this actually looks like. There's a similar encounter that also happens to a little kid inside of his own home, a place where he's supposed to feel safe, but I'm pretty sure after this that his security was at least a little bit shattered. He said he was getting up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water. For some reason he still can't explain, he says he went into his parents' room after getting the water. This was not normal, as he would get the water and go back to his room and go back into his bed and go to sleep. He slept in his own room at the time, and he says the only thing he can think of is that he was being drawn to his parents' room for some reason. The witness stated about his encounter, quote, "When I walked into their room, no door, I saw on the other side of their bed a huge humanoid shape that looked like it was made of static from a TV, except the white was purple and kind of like when you rub your eyes through your eyelids. I immediately just laid back down and went to sleep right there and woke up there in the morning. Don't think I ever told anyone about it until years later. I was 3 or 4, so it's possible my imagination just went nuts, but it always stuck with me," end of quote. So he just laid on his parents' floor and went to sleep. This is something I talk about all the time when I'm like, can certain entities just knock people out? Like, knock, especially children. Like when I was telling you guys about how my mom saw that Jinn at the bottom of her bed and my son had woken up seconds before her and he screamed no, and then he was back to sleep for the entire ordeal of my mom seeing this thing and jumping out of bed and freaking out. So can they put people out? I mean, I believe very much that they can, and this leads me to believe that possibly they're extraterrestrial, because ETs, let's face it, have a habit of doing that to if a person that they're planning on abducting or are abducting is sleeping in bed or in the home with someone else when they come, that person never wakes up no matter what happens. So we pretty much know as a community that they're putting the people out. Just something to think about, guys. I also came across some recurring encounters. Like, someone will encounter the entity first as a little kid or a small child, and then receive visitations or encounter the entity again multiple times throughout their lives. This next witness says that from very early on in his childhood, he has had experiences where he would see, quote, visual snow, end of quote, over his regular field of vision. Kind of like that white and or gray static that used to always be on televisions way back in the day when they would go off for the night or when the channel didn't get reception, but laying over everything he was looking at. So you're looking at this video of me right now, but there's all static in front of me. You can still see me, you can still hear me, but I'm through this white noise static haze. The witness says that through this white noise visual snow type haze, suddenly humanoid forms would shape out of this visual white noise. Can we call it tangible white noise at this point? I mean, can you reach out and touch them? I don't know, but I'm thinking about it because it's so hard to explain otherwise. According to the mysterious universe, quote, these entities congeal out of the static seemingly made of this visual snow, and according to him, appeared in corners at the edge of the bed, in windowsills, and dancing in fields, end of quote. This phenomenon haunted him throughout his childhood, but he always thought it was just poor vision and pareidolia, which I don't know what that is, but I'll let you know in the description box. However, when in years later he had corrective eye surgery done, the phenomenon did not go away, and neither did the entities. The witness says of his experiences, quote, I was incredibly myopic and I have an astigmatism. However, last December I had a PRK, a laser eye surgery, and the static never went away. Because it's always been there, if I'm not focused on it, I can sort of tune out the static like a white noise, and that's how I usually go about the day-to-day. When I was a kid, I always told myself it was just my imagination, but lying in my bed at night, it was hard to believe it was all in my head. Now, in the past 4 years, I've stopped trying to ignore them. I don't avidly seek them out, but I must admit that there's something magnetic about them. I'm not sure if I'm making any sense. The whole situation is very difficult to describe. First comes the anxiety, then I see them, and then something just clicks. It could just be depersonalization or derealization, but it's also very surreal. I try to draw features when I can, but the more I focus on them, the more their features seem to shift without moving. I used to think they were aliens. I was always terrified of aliens. Then I thought they were quote unquote good folk. Now I believe that it's all the same. To me, it doesn't really matter if they're a figment of my mind or an actual entity, aliens or fairies or ghosts or whatever. Regardless of the nature of their existence, I see them. Others see them. So something, somehow, some way must be there. End quote. If you remember in the beginning of this video, I mentioned that these entities almost exclusively appeared to children, and although I personally haven't ever seen them, I did find a report or two where they did appear to adults or where adults saw them. There's a man in Mexico who also posted on these forums I'm always reading and searching and getting my witness accounts from, who claims he encountered a quote-unquote static man one time. Here is what he had to say. I don't speak English very well, so I hope you can understand if I misspell. I tried to tell you my experience with a static man, but first to enter in context, I am from Mexico, more specifically in a city called Córdoba in the state of Veracruz. I living in a small house. In my room, I have a television. I have a television from the mid-90s, which does not work. With that said, I will start my experience. This happened to me 2 weeks ago while it was already dark at approximately 12 or 1 in the morning. I was asleep when I wake up from a feeling of too much terror, feeling like someone is looking at me. I see in my room, looking if something is in my room. When I started to see as a human being made of statics. I don't know if leaving my television or entering this. I fear to get out of bed and go to my door of my room where I keep a weapon to defend myself in case of an intruder in my house. Meanwhile, I see this thing disappear in a very strange way, like it's out of smoke. I go to my bed trying to analyze what happened and try to sleep, and this is all my experience with static creatures. End of quote. So I didn't fix that up because I was quoting the witness. What he was saying is he woke up with this overwhelming feeling of terror, and he realized there was a static entity. And at first, when he looked at it, because he was waking up from sleep, he thought that he was looking at, like, he had left the TV on. You know how our minds will go to great lengths to try to explain things away. So he thought he had left the television on. And he realized he didn't, and then he's like, what the hell? So he just thought this thing was rummaging through his room. He didn't really know what was going on. So when he went to grab a weapon, the thing disappeared kind of, I don't know if in a puff of smoke or just in some mist, which aliens are known for cloaking themselves with mist. So I don't know. The original witness in the script that had the first experience did notice some commonalities to other entities, and I can't wait to further the research on them and plan on doing it really soon, as long as you guys give me the go-ahead in the comments. There is the obvious preference for appearing to mainly the young, but I see that all the time with certain entities, though the witness opines that it's a bit weird in and of itself. I wholeheartedly disagree. Other than that, though, here are some of his other thoughts on the matter. Quote, they always manifest as humanoid. Every story I've heard always describes them as humanoid. They may have exaggerated features, such as elongated limbs or inhuman faces, but their overall form is always humanoid. What this signifies is still beyond me, but it's an element that always happens. They aren't malicious. I haven't yet come across a story of them attacking or harming anyone. They scare the shit out of people and can appear very menacing, but they don't appear to have any malicious intent, because otherwise they'd be attacking people, right? This points to another intriguing aspect that I am currently investigating. They are intelligent. They're intelligent, guys. The guy knew to pull the coat rack down to kind of distract her, and maybe he thought she was going to give chase, and he was like, oh crap, I'm stuck in slow motion, let me slow her down. I just don't know. Are we just not hearing of people who have been attacked? What about all the people who go missing from their bedrooms and from their homes without a trace? I don't know. Again, I feel like this is very reminiscent of the Glimmerman humanoid entity that I personally encountered, and that continues to mystify me to this very day. I know I'm not alone in that one. There's no account of them ever harming or attacking anyone either. I just don't have enough information or experiences, so please let me know through email if you have your own encounters with these entities or have any additional information on them. That's all I have for you today, guys. Please give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed the content, if you enjoyed hanging out with me. Spread the love by sharing this video, and subscribe if you aren't already. If you have any encounters with the supernatural and or paranormal, please email me at GemmaJadeParanormal@gmail.com, and I will put them in my listener encounters series. If you would like a personal intuitive oracle reading from me, please email me at MoonBearOracle@gmail.com. That's MoonBearOracle, all one word, @gmail.com. Also, I'm trying to launch MoonBearOracle this week or next week, depending on when I decide to release this, the first or second week of February. For February monthlies, one for each astrological sign. I'm doing my best. I had a little hiccup, but please go on over there and subscribe if you can. I pinned the link to my Facebook page, but I'm having trouble getting it in the description box. Speaking of the description box, you'll find some links to the live streams I do each week. My Wednesday night live intuitive oracle reading, where I do a free 1-card reading for anyone who comes in. First come, first serve, 7:15 to 10:45, 11 p.m. Eastern Time. Friday nights, Paranormal Chop Shop with Jake Smith, Chad Smith, Sunny Bear, Papa Willie, whoever decides to roam in. Super laid back, have so much fun with those guys, and I'm on there from 9 to 11 p.m. Eastern Time. And of course, Saturday and Sunday nights on Spaced Out Radio right here on YouTube. I'm on the After Hours show with Big Willie Townsend and John Hudson from 11 p.m. to 2 a.m. Eastern Time. Come on in. You guys got to check out the other things that I do. I think you'll be really interested. So subscribe to Chop Shop, subscribe to Spaced Out Radio, subscribe to MoonBearOracle. Continue to support me. I really appreciate you guys so much. Other ways to support me, you'll find links in the description box to PayPal, Cash App, Patreon, Amazon wishlist, gift link. If you'd like to purchase my book, Missing the Fae Theory by Gemma Jade, the links for the Kindle and the paperback version on Amazon will be in the description box as well. If you would like a signed and autographed copy, please hit me up before making the purchase. I feel like I just say this so much because I film all these videos in a row and it's like the same thing. And I'm like, should I just stop saying it? But what if somebody's new? I don't know, guys. Anyways, be kind to each other. It doesn't cost anything. Be kind to yourselves as well. And don't accept anything less than others being kind to you as well. Always go in grace. Smile at a stranger. Have your best day. Have your best night. And I will see you next time. Bye-bye. Mwah.